To shape the future, you must press ahead with quality, with innovation, with enthusiasm, and with a firm desire to push the limits. Welcome to Bosch Automotive Electronics, one of the world's most innovative suppliers to the automotive industry. Bosch stands for more safety, more performance, and even more superiority behind the wheel. We push the limits. It will never be possible to rule out unexpected situations. The ESP sensors and ECUs check the driving status 25 times per second and keep the vehicle safer on track. Traffic in front of the vehicle is monitored up to a distance of 40 car lengths by the Predictive Brake Assist radar sensor from the product range of the Bosch Predictive Safety Systems PSS. Using the radar sensor data, the Predictive Brake Assist recognizes dangerous situations in front of the vehicle which could lead to an accident. Thanks to the interaction between driver reaction and driver assist, the system reduces stopping distances by the amount which can decide between safe driving and crashes. Bosch Automotive Electronics, quality and reliability in series production. Our electronics are the occupant's safety reserve and react like lightning at precisely the right moment when a crash has become unavoidable. Our sensors recognize who's sitting in the vehicle. This means that the ECU can trigger the airbags and seatbelt tensioners individually. After all, our commitment is maximum possible protection. It is our ideas which make the engine more spirited while at the same time improving its fuel economy. Bosch electronic engine management and sensor systems ensure that air and fuel management, ignition, combustion, and exhaust gas treatment are always at an optimum. Without distracting the driver, our electronic engine management selects the perfect balance between performance, fuel consumption, and fun behind the wheel. Bosch Automotive Electronics is top quality for top performance in everyday driving and in motorsport. We are an optimistic company and open to new ideas. Ideas which guarantee your driving superiority on today's roads. The electric power steering uses high-performance micro-hybrid technology for maximum functionality and quality in a minimum of space. Steering is pleasantly light in city traffic. At high speeds, it keeps the vehicle right on track and gives the driver a precise steering feel. With Bosch Night Vision, The driver sees about 3 times as far as with conventional headlights on low beam, without blinding oncoming traffic. The driver detects critical situations at an earlier stage and can react in good time. It's a simple matter to push the limits. After all, our inventiveness and creativeness are unlimited. On average, Bosch Automotive Electronics is awarded a new patent every day. Thanks to our employees and our top quality technology, we are opening up fascinating visions for tomorrow's automobiles and for those further into the future. Networking our electronic systems will provide for more safety, higher performance, and even more superiority behind the wheel on today's roads. We push the limits. Bosch Automotive Electronics. We have a vision, continually extending the limits of feasibility. Bosch. Invented for life.
Have you ever bothered to count how often you have to apply the brakes on the motorway? Much more relaxed driving with ACC, the Automatic Adaptive Cruise Control from Bosch. Today, driving consists of nothing else than monitoring your speed and distance from preceding vehicles and continually adapting yourself to new traffic situations. Experience a new dimension in driving comfort on motorways and high-speed roads with ACC. ACC is designed to cooperate with you and can be adapted to your individual preferences. You select your desired speed and the distance you would like to maintain behind the vehicle in front of you. If ACC detects a slow vehicle in front of you and in your lane, it gently applies the brakes and automatically adjusts your speed. Particularly on long trips and in convoy-style traffic, this noticeably relieves much of the burden of concentrating on the vehicle ahead. With its radar sensor, ACC monitors the space in front of your vehicle and integrates you in the traffic flow without any fuss. When you move back into your lane again after having overtaken another vehicle, ACC immediately registers the vehicle now in front of you and follows it at the selected distance. ACC applies the brakes gently in order to maintain the correct speed. As soon as the traffic lane is free again, ACC accelerates you to the speed selected. There are no vehicles in the area scanned by the ACC sensor. Even on a winding road, ACC recognizes the vehicle to which it must maintain the selected distance. ACC uses the momentary yaw rate and steering angle of its own vehicle to calculate the course taken by the curve. It can thus decide to which vehicle it must keep its distance. Even with ACC activated, you can accelerate whenever you want. The driver's wishes always have priority over the ACC control. Using ACC is child's play. You just select the speed and ACC is activated. As soon as ACC registers a preceding vehicle which is slower than its own vehicle, the driver is informed through the instrument cluster that ACC has switched to pursuit mode. ACC maintains the distance you have selected. You can adjust this in several steps in line with the particular driving situation and your personal driving style. ACC is designed as a comfort system. The extent of acceleration and of braking activation are thus deliberately limited. Should the required deceleration exceed the competence of ACC, the driver will be requested to take over complete control once more. Of course, the driver's requirements always have priority, and you can accelerate whenever you want. As soon as you take your foot off the accelerator, ACC resumes the selected speed again. You can switch off ACC whenever you want with the ACC switch or by slight pressure on the brake pedal. As you can see, simply swimming with the current makes progress easier for you. ACC from Bosch sets new standards in comfort systems. ACC not only gets you there in a more relaxed mood, it simultaneously allows you to concentrate on essentials, thus increasing your awareness of the current traffic situation. ACC. You drive, we keep your distance.
Bosch. Invented for life.
Just imagine having to transport a particularly valuable piece of freight over a distance of thousands of miles. Most certainly, you'd leave nothing to chance when making sure that you and your valuable cargo arrive at your destination in good shape. That's our principle too. We think well in advance and put time to the best use to detect dangerous situations before they lead to a crash. It is practically impossible to grasp the fact that often our airbag electronics only have about 5,000ths of a second to react. Milliseconds, which are decisive when it comes to saving human lives. Milliseconds that we must put to the best use. That's why we are committed to providing only the very best solutions. And that's why we perform extensive tests during the development and application phase for our airbag triggering units. We check thousands of different crash signal combinations with the aim of ensuring that our airbag triggering units make the right decision at the right moment in favor of the best possible occupant protection. Here, we are always forced to reconcile the conflicting demands of time and safety. Primarily, our development endeavors in cooperation with our automotive customers concentrate on the time immediately before the accident and the time during the crash. In the pre-crash phase, our sensing and evaluation systems are already analyzing what is going on in the vehicle and around it. In the event of a crash, all available crash data is evaluated and checked for plausibility. Only then can the protective devices be triggered individually in line with the crash situation and the situation of the vehicle's occupants and of any pedestrians involved. In the post-crash phase, following a deployment situation, our electronics fire those second airbag stages which may not have been activated. In addition, our system stops the fuel supply, unlocks the doors, and switches off the electrical power supply, and in so doing reduces the risk of electrical short circuits and fire. In addition, the Bosch electronics can also transmit an emergency call. Bosch electronic systems for occupant safety consist of sophisticated sensors, bus systems, and intelligent electronic control units for triggering such restraint devices as airbags and seatbelt tensioners. Before the crash actually takes place, the airbag ECU has been constantly monitoring the driving situation. Before the actual impact, surround sensors deliver data on relative vehicle speed, distance to obstacle, and direction of impact. The car predicts the danger. Since it permanently monitors the driving situation, the airbag ECU recognizes critical situations already before a crash actually takes place, thanks to a special interface to the Electronic Stability Control ESC. As early as in the pre-crash phase, this enables the airbag ECU to adapt the restraint system deployment thresholds to the optimal levels and to activate such reversible restraint systems as the seatbelt tensioners. Bosch interior occupant sensors detect whether the seats are occupied or not and what passengers, adults or children, are in the vehicle. A major criterion is the weight of the occupants. Therefore, eye-bolt sensors are integrated in the seat frame and generate signals from which the seat occupant's absolute weight is calculated. The airbag can only fully protect the occupant when he or she is seated in the correct position. For instance, occupants too near to the airbag are classified as being out of position and the airbag must be switched off. In future, iVision stereo video cameras will be used to monitor the space immediately in front of the airbag with regard to predefined safety zones. Here shown as green, yellow, and red. Body size and head position of the particular seat occupant or a child seat are detected and used to individually define the best possible deployment strategy for the protective systems. If a seat occupant is too near the airbag, a more gentle triggering strategy is selected, or the airbag deployment is completely suppressed. What counts in the actual crash phase is the perfectly performed choreography of all the protective devices. The safest deployment at the right moment results from the sum of all inputs from the sensors, their intelligent networking, and their combined evaluation in our central airbag ECU. During the actual crash phase, the upfront acceleration sensors start to deliver the first signals at a very early stage. The acceleration sensor in the central airbag ECU checks these signals for plausibility, so that it is possible to precisely define the crash type and crash severity early on in the sequence. Adaptive control, as used for instance for multi-stage front airbags or for intelligent seatbelt tensioners with belt force limitation, ensures that the strain on the vehicle's occupants is kept to a minimum and that they are protected as well as possible against the results of a crash. In order to better protect pedestrians from the effects of frontal impact, we have developed special acceleration sensors for installation in the front bumper. These immediately detect pedestrian impact and signal the ECU that the engine hood must be slightly lifted in order to gain additional valuable deformation space. In case of a side impact, the time available for triggering the airbags is extremely short. We have therefore developed peripheral acceleration sensors for installation on supporting structures and pressure sensors for the vehicle doors. With their help and within milliseconds, the airbag ECU is able to reach the life-saving decision to deploy the side airbags. We also sense rear-end crashes using the central airbag ECU. To trigger devices which protect against whiplash, optionally, additional sensors can be installed in the rear trunk area. In order to provide passengers with the best possible protection in case of vehicle rollover, we offer airbag ECUs which feature an integrated yaw rate sensor. During a crash, these detect the vehicle's inclination to roll over and in such cases trigger the curtain airbags, which in many vehicles are already fitted as part of the side impact protection system. If the vehicle is equipped with ESC, during the early stages of the accident, the airbag ECU is able to detect a skid situation coupled with the risk of rollover. This enables it to precisely activate the correct protective devices at an even earlier stage. Bosch is actively engaged all over the world in the field of tailor-made occupant protection systems. The Bosch Research Center for Interior Occupant Sensing is located in the USA. In Germany, we concentrate on the development of our crash sensor systems, which save the valuable milliseconds needed for the control and effective activation of all the required protective systems. We produce our sensing and deployment systems at a variety of different sites around the world, within the framework of the International Bosch Manufacturing Alliance. Our modern wafer plant is equipped with the technical prerequisites for the development and manufacture of sensor chips and other ASICs. Here we manufacture more than 300 different chip types around the clock, 7 days a week. These are at the heart of our airbag ECUs. On our airbag production lines around the world, we produce more than 30,000 ECUs every day, safety components in guaranteed Bosch quality. The success of an idea is a function of many different factors, one of which is speed. In order to reduce development times while at the same time accelerating the iteration processes, we developed AIDA. This is a crash algorithm which permits adaptation of the airbag ECUs to new vehicle models before the vehicle itself is actually available. This enables the automaker to take full advantage of know-how which would otherwise not have been available until after the first real crash with a particular vehicle. This reduces his costs for crash tests. The demands made on tailor-made intelligent sensing and triggering concepts will continue to increase. That is the reason why today, Bosch is already integrating intelligent active and passive safety systems together with driver assistance and vehicle dynamic systems in a safety concept covering the vehicle in its entirety. Bus systems for sensors and actuators will replace the conventional point-to-point wiring and will provide for even more flexible, reliable, and direct communication between all components. At Bosch, we think in advance in order to detect dangerous situations before they lead to a crash. We put time to the best use today for the development of tomorrow's technology. After all, best possible occupant protection is a question of time and our commitment. Bosch. Invented for life.